Hello and welcome back to another in-depth weather video. Today we're going to be going over some winter weather and some tropics. So if you like the video, you should like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell. Now let's jump right on into it. So the headlines today are winter storm for the south central US, critical fire weather in the west, and tracking Zeta. We're going to cover two of those topics today, the first and the last. First up, a lot of winter storm advisories for today. We have winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, and winter storm watches, as well as freeze watches, hard freeze watches as well. And we have some wind chill advisories behind this system. So a bunch of winter alerts, and that's pretty much the story right now. We also see some tropical storm and hurricane warnings in the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean. We'll be talking about that today too. Now let's move on here to the radar. I am using the Weather Underground or Wonderground map. So here is the radar. Zoomed in on the northeast right now, where we do have some showers. That is associated with a little bit of a low pressure system right off the coast. But here's the big story. This is Winter Storm Billy, still ongoing. Have snow stretching from Arizona up through into Canada, and this thing's continuing to dump snow. You can see it's not very well developed, but in some of these areas you have very heavy snow, which is contributing to that high snow total risk. Now let's move on here to the satellite imagery. So this is a great view because you can see Zeta down here, and you can see the atmospheric flow of Winter Storm Billy up here, as well as that coastal system as well. Now let's move on to the winter weather outlook. So we're going to start here. We're going to go to our day 1 inch or more. You can see two separate areas here. One in the Rockies and Plains, and another one in Canada. But we're going to just scroll through here. You can see that threat diminishes in the southern Rockies and southern Plains as we move through the week, but it just sticks around, and that repetitiveness of the same spots getting similar percentages of snow ends up calculating to this higher risk. Now, over 24 hours, you have very small chances of getting 18 inches or more, but over time, those snow totals add up. And now, let's go to the 4 inches, because that's usually a pretty good benchmark. You can see there's plenty of spots in higher elevations getting that 95% chance. And that is key to this, because even if you have like 80% chance, the same area is picking up that chance over multiple days. Just means that there is just a piling effect of all this snow. And then behind that comes the cold, so if you like to ski, the Rockies are your place right now. But let's move on here quickly to the National Hurricane Center for our tropical weather outlook. So we have two storms currently in the Atlantic. We have post-tropical cyclone Epsilon, which currently has massive sustained winds of 70 miles an hour, minimum central pressure of 968 millibars, and is moving northeast at 46 miles an hour. And we have Zeta, completely different storm here, especially in movement. We have maximum sustained winds of 60 miles an hour, minimum central pressure of 997 millibars, and is moving north-northwest at 2 miles an hour. That is a crazy difference in both pressure and speed, but very similar in maximum sustained winds, both at technically a tropical storm force. But now, if we move on here to Zeta, I just want to check in on the cone here. You can see this is now expected to become a hurricane, hit the Yucatan, and then enter the Gulf, remain a hurricane, and hit Louisiana. This is very similar to how Delta looked, where kind of Now, this is expected to maintain strength, but we didn't see that with Delta, and I don't think we're going to see it here. But we'll talk about that more in the current storm information. But I do want to check in on the arrival time of winds with 5-day wind speed probabilities turned on, and you can see the highest risks now are 50 to 60% in the mouth of the Mississippi area, and a 100% chance of tropical storm force winds in the Cancun area of Mexico. Now let's move on to that current storm information. So global hurricane models showing very similar track to what the NHC is saying. Not many outliers here. Most of these have it pretty much down. This is going to hit Louisiana. A few models have it hitting Alabama, Florida. Few having it go back out over the ocean and hit Mississippi. But let's move on here. GFS ensembles kind of showing that route that the NHC is taking it, but also having this come out a little bit more west to east than the NHC is predicting it. The GEPS, much shorter range right now, only 120 hours, but very similar to the GFS. So again, most of these models have the track pretty much down. Now, intensity is where the wild card is. Most models show this becoming a Category 1 before the first landfall. Many of them have it diminishing in strength at that first landfall, picking up that strength yet again to very similar wind speeds to that of before, and then it makes that second landfall and drops off. I think that's what's going to happen. A few of these have maintaining strength over the Yucatan. I don't think that's going to happen. I really think that if we could use Delta as a reference here, it's going to drop off and then pick back up. Which, since we have that shear in the Gulf and those cold water temperatures, that might actually limit the storm, which is a good sign. Now let's move on to the 93-kilometer model, where we are going to be talking about the rest of Billy and Zeta. So here's Billy. You can see heaviest snow is still over the Rocky Mountains, but now moving into the plains, we have a sleet and freezing rain threat as well in the south, and that is where this storm is really going to pack a punch down there. Not much in terms of snow, but a lot in terms of freezing rain, especially now on Tuesday. You get a significant freezing rain threat, and then this starts to move back up to the north as Zeta comes in. Now moving on to the 12-kilometer model, you can see has it hitting the mouth of the Mississippi, kind of taking that more west to east route after landfall. Moving on to the GFS, we're just going to quickly take a look at this. So it has it hitting the Yucatan, hitting Louisiana, and again it has it getting swept across by this storm system here, which is currently Billy, and that moves into the northeast and out to sea. It also has another Caribbean system picking up strength here, moving across Cuba and into Florida. So we have to watch that as well. But that is all I have for today. This video has been plenty long enough. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.